Narendra Das Modi.
Viewers, Prime Minister Modi took oath of office as recently as June 9, but some are already writing him off. It's being said that NDA 3.0 appears, quote, less sure-footed than the Vajpayee and UPA era coalitions, unquote. The leader of the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, has even cattily remarked that the Prime Minister, who is used to strut about, is now walking around with drooping shoulders. Yes, the NDA 3.0 has taken a little time to adjust to the limitations of a diminished majority where it is dependent on allies. We all know this. But rolling back a tax provision in the budget, sending the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 to a JPC for wider consultations, and the temporary withdrawal of an advertisement for lateral entry jobs doesn't mean NDA 3.0 has been reduced to a paralytic version of the UPA. Now viewers, let's get some perspective here. Sure, the decision to roll back the lateral entry scheme, that too by the Prime Minister himself in clear contradiction of his own government's orders, appears clumsy. There's no doubt about that. Equally, it could be said that the alacrity with which the decision was taken by the Prime Minister shows that the NDA is more finely attuned to feedback from more marginalized social groups than ever before. This bodes obviously well for more equitable policy making in the coming years. In fact, what analysts and the BJP's opponents overlook is that after the Supreme Court verdict calling for the exclusion of the quote creamy layer unquote from the SC/ST reservations, the Prime Minister was the first to object. After a cabinet meeting, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw announced that quote the Prime Minister was keen to assure that the principle of creamy layer does not apply to reservations for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes unquote. This is an act of decisiveness on the Prime Minister's part on an issue that has even left the opposition undecided. Hardly a sign of being, quote, in a total funk, unquote, as one political scientist put it recently. Moreover, the BJP-led NDA's strategic restraint, that too in the PM's name, positions Modi as the guardian of OBC SC/ST interests. Ahead of assembly polls, the dilutions will allow the BJP to blunt the opposition, which alleges the government isn't committed to the welfare of the socially and economically marginalized. The Lok Sabha 2024 jolt to the NDA from the people is a call for more humble and consultative leadership. In the aftermath of the result, smart politics demanded that the Prime Minister appear more responsive to another point of view, even if that was that of its opponents. By rethinking some decisions, Modi is certainly coming across as exactly that, more responsive. The PM's new underdog image, the BJP hopes, will allow it to diffuse the opposition's propaganda that Modi is an autocratic, modern-day Louis XVI out of touch with the sensitivities of the marginalized classes that he himself belongs to. To paint a more moderate Prime Minister as weak and convictionless is a stunning bit of hypocrisy, friend. Remember the carping from a few months before? There was talk of Modi being a Tanashah, a Tanashahi Shahenshah. He was accused of issuing Tughlaki Farmans. There were editorials in foreign media by Indians of democratic backsliding under Modi. There were urgent, if not furtive, calls by Modi's opponents, chiefly Rahul Gandhi, for foreign powers to intervene to save Indian democracy. And of course, there was Jowly George, the opposition's favorite go-to grandpa, croaking criticism directed at Modi. Like a political analyst points out, quote, when Modi did what he and his cabinet thought was right, he was termed as autocratic, throttling democracy. Now, when he is more accommodating in implementing suggestions of the opposition and allies, he has lost his mojo. Either way, he is wrong for India, unquote. If anyone was objectively analyzing the facts, they would have noticed that the NDA, even at the apex of its popularity and electoral invincibility, that is between 2014 to 2024, rolled back or held back on some big-ticket political and economic reforms. Land acquisition bill was frozen due to opposition from farmers and civil society groups. Notification of labor law codes was put off due to opposition from trade unions and concerns about worker rights. One India, one election poll reform, the UCC, privatization of public sector enterprises, the NCTC or the National Counter-Terrorism Center were all iced due to opposition from state governments and concerns about federalism. Plans to issue Aadhaar-based national health ID dropped due to concerns about data, privacy and security. And what about the 3 farm laws, friends? The NDA rolled them back too, in the mother of all climb downs. And of course, who can forget the chokehold on the decision to notify CAA and conduct the NRC in deference to widespread protests and concerns about their impact on minority communities. And this isn't even an exhaustive list, but it is enough to tell us that despite these major compromises, the NDA 1 and 2 got a lot done. There's no reason why the third iteration of the NDA will do any less. It has got off to a bustling start. Among the notable decisions is the announcement of the Unified Pension Scheme or the UPS. Intriguingly, the UPS has also been adjudged by some to be another quote U-turn unquote by the government. Clever wordplay notwithstanding, the UPS is not a return to the Vajpayee era old pension scheme. Here are some easy to understand reasons, a fact check. On eligibility, OPS is typically limited to government employees, whereas UPS aims to cover all citizens, including the unorganized sector. Pension amount. OPS provides a defined benefit based on salary and years of service, whereas UPS offers a flat rate pension. Funding. OPS is funded by the government from budgetary allocations, whereas UPS may involve a combination of government funding and individual contributions. It is for this reason that it is considered more fiscally prudent. Portability. OPS is generally not portable, whereas UPS is designed to be portable across jobs and locations. Withdrawal rules. OPS allows for lump sum withdrawals, whereas UPS may have stricter withdrawal rules. This fact check proves that a larger agenda may be at work to paint a picture of drift within government. And there are many in government who are convinced that there are some who want to derail the India growth story, that these powers are uncomfortable with a stable NDA powered by a dynamic Prime Minister piloting fast-paced growth to enable Bharat to claim a larger space for itself in the world. Recently, Union Minister Shivraj Chauhan alluded to this by noting, quote, हमारे विद्रोही जिसमें ये सच है कि विदेशी ताकतें भी शामिल हैं, ये हमारे देश में कैसे भी बीजेपी की सरकार ना रहे, unquote. There may be some truth to this. Regime change is not implausible. Just look across the border to Bangladesh. And there is evidence to suggest that vested interests at home and abroad have tried to agitate the public against the government by spinning false narratives. Everything in the kitchen sink have been thrown at this effort. From falsely claiming that COVID vaccines were contaminated by pig fat, to claiming that EVMs were hacked to rig elections, and the courts were being packed with lackeys to skew justice. The latest was a ludicrous attempt to pin the blame for flash floods in Bangladesh on India. A number of NGOs and foreign publications carried reports quoting Bangladeshi citizens claiming that India has flooded Bangladesh by releasing water from the Dumbu Dam, situated in the Indian state of Tripura, on the Gomti River that flows from India into Bangladesh. But a fact check has revealed that the claims were made on the basis of social media posts made by shadowy elements out to spark discord in the region, possibly even limited conflicts that invariably have economic costs. Many users on social media had posted videos of a dam releasing water. claiming it to be the Dumbur Dam in the Indian state of Tripura. However, the dam in the video turned out to be actually the Sri Salem Dam, located in the Indian state of Telangana, near the temple of Sri Salem. The Telangana state is not contiguous with Bangladesh. Anyone can tell you that. In any case, being a deltaic nation, Bangladesh has always been flood prone. So why was this narrative built up? Finally, some narrative builders and influencers have suggested that the NDA isn't destined to be weak because of its coalition partners, but despite them. That the NDA will bend to compulsion, driven by vulnerabilities at the heart of the BJP itself. This critique is centered on what is being called the Congressization of the BJP. The Congressization, viewers, of the BJP. But even here, attempts to draw parallels between the BJP's current situation and the Congress's decline in the 1990s are a stretch. The BJP has a strong organizational structure, a clear ideological vision, a leadership that has delivered on its promises, albeit with some compromises due to coalition politics. In fact, in a few days, the Prime Minister will flag a mass membership drive to inject fresh talent into the BJP. Judging from similar recruitment drives in the past, the BJP will add lakhs of new members. It is already the world's largest political party. Sinking ships don't attract new blood that is bubbling with the audacity of hope. And neither does a sinking ship attract donors who want to invest in a vision for a future. Friends, the Prime Minister is just beginning. NDA 3.0 has a lot of Josh left in it.